What's up? It's your boy Tech. I'm about to show y'all this instrument I've been working on for the past couple years, maybe 2.75 of a year. What I'm going to show you is a huge library of percussion loops. First, let me give you the backstory. I wanted to make a drum kit. For those that know me know I love a good percussion loop. I'm like a rhythmic bass producer, so I always start with drums. I don't know why, that's just my DNA. Upon perusing my vast drum library, or my drum folders, it dawned on me that I still don't have enough. I'm looking for a particular sound, just that super vintage vinyl-y sound, like all the weird textural elements of those, I guess. So with that, I embarked on a journey to creating this massive drum pack. What I did was I went over to my friend's studio and we just started banging on random shit. Congas, guitars, this weird little African drum thing we were banging on for a little while. Triangles, all types of metal stuff, keys, forks. We even hit up the little thrift stores and pawn shops to get a couple of little things that we didn't have. I already had a bunch of tambourines and like egg shakers and all that stuff. It wasn't just me that recorded some of these things. I outsourced some of the instruments that I couldn't find, like big bass drum looking stuff and like things I couldn't get my hands on. Like, I don't even know what they're called, to be fucking honest. But yeah, I started basically just banging on stuff and just recording like little loops here and there, blah, blah, blah. While I was recording the individual instruments, it kind of dawned on me, like, why not combine some of the instruments, like a triangle and the conga loop would be one loop, and like bongos and a weird little rubber band thing could be another loop. But then even deeper, I was thinking, why don't I just make stems? Because if I can make a drum or like a percussion loop that has all these elements in them, why not just make stems? I've never seen that before. They have one percussion loop, 4 different instruments or different takes. Wanted to give you the ability to, I guess, control each individual element. Like I notice sometimes when I'm digging for samples and stuff, there's percussion loops and like drum sounds and stuff that have elements in them, but now I'm like, dang, I wish I could take out that annoying ass ringing sound. AI's not there yet, but we're getting there. Anyway, so while we were recording stuff, I would have, let's say, I would shake a tambourine, get a little groove. I would bang on something else, get another little groove. Just keep banging on shit. Just literally just keep banging on shit until I get like a solid pocket. Just that process alone took about 2 years. Granted, I wasn't trying to like expedite it by any means. I just wanted to have it in the back burner, like in a tuck. Just when I finish it, I finish it. I eventually got a massive folder of like 500 different loops. Let me slow down. While I was recording these individual elements, they weren't mixed together. I kind of had them set up in my Ableton to where triangles recorded first, bam, and recorded everything else. So I'm not recording everything at the same time like a drummer would. So yeah, that process took a couple years, but again, I wasn't trying to be big with it. Ended up processing everything. I don't have any tape machines, mine broke. So sue me, I'm using UAD stuff. I'm using the Ampex to make it sound all, you know what I'm saying? Also, I like warp some of them, because while we're playing it live, I noticed that like when I want to add my own swing to stuff, it's kind of like, I don't know, it's just easier to work with stuff that's kind of already quantized and then kind of shift stuff. But again, this isn't with every single loop, every single stem. And this was the kit. This kit was called Pangea at first. Ended up changing the name. I don't know why. I just, too many things named Pangea, I guess. What? It's still a cool name. I might change it. I don't know. We're still beta. Wasn't up until a few months ago when I wanted to start looking into building VSTs, but I have no coding experience. Kind of a lie. If you remember from MySpace, those my age, I got like one gray hair, you can't see it. While I was trying to think about what VST I wanted to make, I wanted to make like an effects VST. Then I was thinking, damn, I have all of these kits sitting on my computer. What if I could just make like a sample base? Well, long story, less long. Still long as fuck, but less long. I wanted to use Juice at first, too much. Couldn't do it. So I looked into Highs, and Highs was kind of promising. However, they don't have a good time stretching algorithm. I wanted to make a VST just because it's like its own thing. It's like a monolith. I think I was just running uphill. But I could just be using Kontakt. I use Kontakt every day anyway. But like, okay, you know what? I give in. And it took me about 1 or 2 months of sleepless nights, literally sleepless nights, to learn how to script in Kontakt, KSP, whatever the fuck it's called. There we have it. Cultura Playground. There are two versions of this library. There's the stems version, and there's like the version that's just basically the kits, just how the kits were. Just I'll get into it. The version I want to show you is the playground version. It is cool to me because essentially how I mentioned the stems, remember? All of the stems are laid out across the keyboard, divided into 4 groups as you can see by BPM. It's fun to play with because you can wrap your hands anywhere on the keyboard, they're all time stretched, and they sync. Yeah, that's basically the backstory, I guess. Okay, so out the gate, you see there are 4 icons. Each icon corresponds to a different BPM range, okay? When you first load it, this particular BPM range is loaded, 113 to 135 BPM. I'm at 121 right now, so that kind of works. When you click a bank, it loads and unloads it from the memory. So if you look at the top, with this one bank loaded, you see 286 megabytes. So when you load another one, it keeps going up and keeps going up. Turn them all off, cool. Nothing's loaded now. When you hit the playground button at the top, it loads everything. Click it again, unloads everything. I'm gonna open this bank back up, and I'm just gonna hit 1 note. I'm gonna hit 2 notes. 4 notes. Okay, when I hit those notes, look at the top where the voices are. 4 voices. If you load another bank, take a look at the amount of voices at the top. 8 voices. And I'm saying all that to say, be mindful if your computer isn't the best, because you can load all of these banks and hit 4 notes and 16 voices. If your computer can handle that, most computers can. I'm just letting you know. And also, when you start working with the MIDI, if you add like 20 different loops on top of each other and you have different banks loaded, be careful. Again, my computer can handle it and most computers can handle it, just saying. Okay, let's unload all of these. In the bottom or middle section, we have volume sliders. We have high pass and low pass in the middle right here. So panning right here. And you have your mute and solo buttons, which are pretty self-explanatory. Side note, if you don't know what something is, just look at the bottom. I made notes for everything you hover over. So load purge bank 3 level, bank 3 high pass, low pass, and so forth and so on. At the bottom, we have a little kind of effects section, mixer section kind of thing. I don't know what you want to call it. We have a transient shaper, which is attack and sustain. So when you hit a note, that's a sustain. Here's the attack. Okay, control click. I think I also forgot to mention that if you control click the banks, they solo the bank. You just want to quickly swap between something, I don't know. We have a swing section, which I'm gonna get to a little later because it's best demonstrated with context, AKA a drum loop or something else. Here's the low cut and high cut, or high pass filter, low pass filter. It's pretty much the same as these high pass and low pass knobs up here, but it just works on a global level. Here's your width in your pan. Here's your gain. Here's your limiter. The limiter kind of adds just a little bit of color. I tried to make it as transparent as possible, but you know what that does. Just click it on, turn it off, turn it off. Cool. Okay, now back to the swing section. Each of these buttons corresponds to millisecond delay times. So let me just demonstrate it for you really quick. Okay, I loaded a loop, and this is what it sounds like. Okay, that's from Slum Breaks Volume 1. So go pick that up. lun.wtf. Thank you. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open up the piano roll and just add random MIDI notes. I'm going to extend them because some loops are 2 bars, some are 4 bars. So if you have a 4-bar loop and you have a 2-bar loop, the 2-bar loop will just loop itself. But if it's too short, the 4-bar loop won't play in its entirety. Just select everything. Okay, extend those bad boys. Add it up here. Okay, I'm going to turn the swing knob off. It's called swing, but it's just millisecond delay. This is what it sounds like when the doves cry. No, this is what it sounds like with no swing. It's a bit much. I don't know if I need all those sounds. So what we can do is, we have 2 things I like to do personally. Transpose it up a semitone. See what that gives you. This would be a good example because it doesn't sound great yet. Let me turn down the velocity, which I also need to mention that these are all velocity sensitive. So softly, hard. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Okay, it's a bit busy. I want to take some sounds out, but I just want to demonstrate how the swing can maybe juice it up a little bit, add a little bit of flavor so that it doesn't, so you don't really notice how busy it is, or just might sound better. Let's just see. So here's 20. Not bad. Let's try 40. Let's try 60. '60 is a bit much, but that's why I added this knob here so you can dial in however much you want to your heart's desire. 112. I maxed it out at 112. I mean, I figured that's probably the max most people will go, but if I get enough complaints, I'll just bump it up to like 200 or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to mess around with this just to see how I can get it to sound a little bit better without taking out any notes. Just a little challenge. He took out the lows. Let's switch banks. Again, I'm not even in the right BPM range for this loop, by the way. Wasn't intentional. I just forgot to change it back. So let's go to the appropriate BPM range, which would be, because I'm at 94, which is so close to 95, I can use either of these. So let's start with this one. Control click this bank, hear how this sounds. I like the first one better. Cool thing about it is I can load both of them. Turn this one down a little bit, maybe. There's a lot of combinations you could do. Let's just try another one. You can hear a little bit of the artifacts. That's just because I'm going from 130 something to 94. Makes sense as why it would be some artifacts in there. If you have any questions or just need like a little bit of documentation, click this little question mark icon up here. And it pretty much just runs through everything I just told you. I just thought it'd be cool to make a video just to demonstrate how I use it. Let's just play with it one more time. Whoa. So I'm gonna transpose everything up one more just to see how it sounds. Transpose it again. So yeah, the possibilities are actually kind of crazy. I'm gonna load all the banks and just play it just to see how it sounds. I'm gonna turn the swing off. Solo. Okay, you get the gist. I can do this for hours. This is the instrument I've always wanted, but no one made it. So took it upon myself to sacrifice a few months to make this. So I think that's it. Thank you guys. If you're watching this, if you watch this whole video, you're crazy. But I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you so much. Head over to lun.wtf. Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Catch y'all next time. Peace.